I'm not a queen. I never fancied myself a queen. I am innocent. No, I'm not a bitch. I'm a woman. If I cry alone.
Leona Helmsley bears it all to Cindy Adams.
They've destroyed our lives, literally.
Leona, tonight.
You mean to tell me that for a bra or a puzzle that I'm being sent to jail for 4 years, 4 long years, and a $25 million bail? I'm a dangerous character. Watch out, everybody, right?
Well, watch out, America, because tonight, Leona gets her chance to talk back. Hello, everyone. I'm Ari Povich, and welcome to this special edition of A Current Affair. During the past months and years, she's been called just about everything in the book. And though Leona Helmsley is no stranger to the spotlight, she's had to face the crowds and the critics and the court in uncharacteristic silence. That wasn't easy for a lady who's used to being on top.
Leona Helmsley, queen of the Helmsley hotel chain, reigned supreme for years. She and her husband Harry had New York in the palm of their hands because they owned a large portion of it. The name Helmsley not only opened doors, it was on the doors of some of the nation's most prized real estate, with riches estimated at $5 billion. But in August of 1989, the queen of the Helmsley hotels was dethroned. Leona was found guilty of evading more than $1 million in federal income tax, guilty of charging $4 million in personal expenses to the Helmsley businesses. With her husband Harry unable to stand trial, Leona stood alone as former friends and associates told horror stories of Leona's abusive behavior. But long before the jury's verdict was in, Leona Helmsley had been convicted in the court of public opinion. Leona bashing became the new national pastime, and everyone got in on the game, from David Letterman to Ed Koch, who called her the Wicked Witch of the West.
And that was probably one of the nicer things said about Leona Helmsley. Well, before tonight. Despite all the nasty things said about her, Leona hasn't spoken out. Like I said, not until tonight. Because our Cindy Adams, in a world-exclusive interview, managed to get Leona Helmsley to sit down and open up.
Leona, you seem very self-assured. Are you scared?
I'm not scared. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. Who wouldn't be?
Would you say your stomach is in knots?
Well, perhaps I respond differently. I react differently. It drops and it just sits there. And eventually it comes up when I think of the ramifications of the magnitude of what's happening. It's like being on, well, it isn't even a roller coaster. You're just being pushed with no control whatsoever. And it's gathering moss for nothing. I haven't done anything. I'm innocent.
What about your health? This kind of stress, has it affected you in any way physically?
Of course. I find I cry a lot. I don't sleep as well. It has to affect me.
What is your life like these days? You're certainly not going to party.
No, we don't go anyplace. We don't go anyplace. You know, all our lives have always been work and each other.
Yeah.
And, well, even the work had to be curtailed to a degree, because wherever you go, there's people. We don't have 1 minute to ourselves when we're anyplace. We went to Arizona. There were helicopters flying over the house. We just came back from Sarasota. I went to visit the property that we have there, and I thought it would be nice if we had 3 days to ourselves. Yeah. And we went on the beach, and there was a reporter lying on the sand, and he had his camera aimed at us. It's terribly unfair. We've been imprisoned for 4 years now. It's going on 4 years. 4 years of this, of persecution.
She's not holding back anything, is she? Some of the things that Leona has to say may surprise you tonight, may even get your sympathy. And we'll have much more in a moment with Cindy's exclusive interview with Leona Helmsley.
I don't cry on anyone, Cindy. If I cry alone. They were not doing their job. They were taking money without cause. I'm sorry. Those kind of people I do not want near me. Now, if that's being a bitch, then I'm a bitch.
She's probably one of the most unloved people in the spotlight, Leona Helmsley, and our Cindy Adams was the one to get her to talk for the first time since the Queen was deposed. And the interview took place where, Cindy?
Well, it's in her Manhattan duplex. We sat and talked right underneath her indoor swimming pool just before I lost my voice.
Right now, I'm in the midst of trying to organize a new campaign, advertising campaign. I think we have a very good one coming up. Not with me in it.
Not going to be with the Queen, is it?
I'm not a queen. I never fancied myself a queen. This was done with tongue in cheek. It was to attract people to a new hotel, which it did, but it also, look what else it attracted, and it isn't fair. It isn't fair. I never called myself a queen.
Was it not your idea to do these ads?
No, it was not my idea to do these ads. This is the idea of the advertising people. And, well, it seemed great at the time, I guess. But it's all out of context. It isn't what it was supposed to be. You never heard me say that I'm a queen or that I sit on a throne. In fact, I resented it when people would say to me, "Hello, Queen." That's what the advertising girl used to say to me. And I really didn't like it.
What about your future with the hotels? I thought that you were losing the liquor license.
Well, that all remains to be seen.
Yeah.
That all remains to be seen. I am innocent. I am innocent. I am innocent. There's nothing that has really been proven. I would like to know whose money we stole, whether it was children, widows, whose? No money has been stolen. Did you ever see Harry Helmsley's income tax returns?
No, of course not.
Well, I think it would fill half the size of this room. Each one is yay high.
Yeah.
And, well, there are 695 of them, plus 19 partnerships. And if I could do that in income tax returns, I'm really a genius.
We would like to know how a billionaire could be, in theory, evading $1 million in income tax.
That's ludicrous. During the same year, why doesn't somebody talk about the charitable contributions that we have made and how much we did pay in income tax? We paid $344 million. $344 million in income tax. I would like to see who else in the country comes near that figure. Plus which, during the years they're talking about, we also gave $33 million to charity, to a hospital, to build a 36-story Helmsley Medical Tower.
This $300 million that you're talking about, for over how long a period, and is it corporate or personal?
5 years, both. It's corporate and personal. Now, the corporate comes because personally we do it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It comes because that. We've done nothing wrong. We've done nothing to be ashamed of, and I'm not ashamed of anything that we have done. My husband's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful man.
Who do you have around you now that you can talk with or that you can cry on?
I don't cry on anyone, Cindy. If I cry alone. I have my husband. And I have people that work for me. In my household. Amazing. 7 years, one girl. 18 years, Mr. Brady. They've concocted such lies. They've concocted such lies.
Okay, then we get down to the basics. Are you now, or have you ever been, a bitch? That's the crux of your whole case. Are you a bitch?
Absolutely not. If a man, what would you call a man that's successful? What would you call a man? You couldn't call him a bitch. Would you call him a bastard?
No.
No.
Aggressive?
You would call him a good executive.
Yeah.
I'm a woman, and I'm a woman in business, and I'm an executive. And if I were a man, they would say, you're a fantastic executive, but I'm a woman, so they label me a bitch. There are times that I understand that if you're a little bit cranky or you're a little bit off, they want to know what time of the month it is. There's always something. It's the fact that you are a woman and successful, and very successful, a major hotel chain is what I run. Well, it becomes, they label you. Case in point, and if you want to call me a bitch for this, it's fine. We were walking to the car at the Palace. Harry was with me. He's got a big investment there. And I saw a door open behind the concierge. So I walked around and I opened the door. Yikes, what I saw there. There were dirty coffee cups. The luggage was all over. Yes, I fired the people. They were not doing their job. They were taking money without cause. I'm sorry. Those kind of people I do not want near me. Now, if that's being a bitch, then I'm a bitch. You know, I ran 27 hotels. 27. I would say we employ a minimum of 10,000 people at these hotels. Maybe. I fired 20, 25. That's it.
Would you say, then, that you are the opposite? Are you a pussycat? Is Leona Helmsley a pussycat?
No. If you pet me, I'll purr. But if you hit me, I might scratch. Of course.
But where the phrase bitch came from, was it from the...
No. It happened in court. My attorney used that word. And maybe he was being dramatic. I don't know. And then, of course, there was a gag order. I was not permitted to speak to anyone at the trial. And I'm a law-abiding citizen. I never had a parking ticket in my whole life. I've never had a parking ticket. So if my lawyer said, there's a gag order, you don't talk to anybody, well, I didn't talk to anybody. It was if I had to go to the bathroom, excuse me, one of the lawyers came with me to make sure I spoke with no one.
In the John?
In the John. No place. I spoke to no one. I came and I went like a dummy. Mm-hmm.
If anything happens, what are your reserves? How will you survive it?
In what direction? If I went to jail, I'm not going to jail. I've done nothing. I cannot believe that the system in the United States of America has stopped working.
Leona Helmsley obviously feels she has done nothing wrong and seems to have a strong belief as well that she will not end up in jail. We'll have more of Leona with our Cindy Adams when we come back right after this.
Harry could not get along without me. It's the cruelest thing in the world. We paid a fortune in taxes. And I sat down with the housekeeper and I said, do you know that only the little people pay taxes? This is nonsense, and I'm the little people.
In both her private and public life, Leona Helmsley has never been shy about admitting her affection for her third husband, Harry Helmsley. It was a question about what would happen to the 80-year-old man of the mansion that brought one of Leona's strongest replies.
I couldn't care for Harry. Harry could not get along without me. It's the cruelest thing in the world.
I have to ask, because it's part of the court procedure now, about your husband's health. How is he? How would you say he is?
We don't discuss the case. I think if he had to go to trial, it would have killed him. It would have killed him. He is not as strong as he used to be, and I really don't want to discuss his health. He's fine for me. That's how I feel.
At a time when you would normally be leaning on him, a little bit almost, he's leaning on you.
No, he's not leaning on me. He's not leaning on me. He's not heavy at all. He's perfect for me. I have no complaints about him. All I want is that we spend the rest of our lives together. That's all I want. And I'll be a very happy girl.
You are now speaking to the American public. What would you like to say to them, Leona?
I'm innocent. That's what I'd like to say. And I would like to say that I want to thank all the thousands of letters that I have gotten that have supported me. I'm very grateful for them. They came at a time when I needed.
During the case, there were some things that people could not quite understand, like your charging your girdles. Did you charge your girdles?
I don't know if I charged it. Firstly, I don't wear a girdle. But secondly, whatever was charged, I have 3 secretaries.
Yeah.
So I say, I must be a busy woman. 27 hotels, really. And I'd say, would you please get me the puzzles? I like puzzles. Or order a bra, or this, again, it's mail. When I get it, I don't say, now where is the bill? But if the check is put in front of me, I sign it. If the check isn't put in front of me, I don't even know whether I don't know. I don't know. You mean to tell me that for a bra or a puzzle that I'm being sent to jail for 4 years, 4 long years, and a $25 million bail? I'm a dangerous character. Watch out, everybody, right?
Yeah.
And a $7 million fine? What is this? And then 250 hours of community work. I think it's a little harsh.
Tell me something that I never understood. The phrase, the little people, that was a killer for you. Did you, in fact, say that?
This is the most ludicrous, ridiculous thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. Here we paid, and I don't have to repeat again, we paid a fortune in taxes. And I sat down with a housekeeper, and I said, do you know that only the little people pay taxes? This is nonsense. And I'm the little people, and I'm the one paying the taxes. We paid $344 million in taxes. Of course I didn't say it. Of course. I really don't know where it came from. I don't know where it came from. But it didn't come from this mouth.
It sure did hurt at the trial. Now, Cindy, you think she's watching tonight?
She is watching even as we speak with Professor Alan Dershowitz, her lawyer, who's starting the appeal tomorrow, and the team.
We're going to stick around. Please, Cindy, stick around and tell us when we come back in a minute what we're going to be seeing on tomorrow's installment of the Leona Conversation.
The private life of Leona Helmsley from the lips of the lady herself.
And I said, Mimi, if something happens to that young man, you will go out the way you came, with nothing.
And Leona reveals the shocking secret of her childhood.
At one point, where they really couldn't afford to keep us all, I was the one that went to live with an uncle. I'm Leona Helmsley, and I'm innocent.
This was the latest proclamation from the Queen. In an appearance outside a New York courthouse today, Leona was still predicting she will not be leaving her pricey digs for a jail cell. When she spoke to our Cindy Adams in an exclusive interview, some of the things she said exposed a Leona we never knew.
Leona Helmsley's 1989 conviction for tax evasion was not the first controversy for the hotel queen. The lies Leona told about her life are legendary, from attending Hunter College to the number of husbands she landed before Harry. When her only son Jay died at the age of 41, Leona waged a war with Jay's third wife, Mimi, that stunned friends and foes. Leona's private life has rarely resembled her public persona. In an exclusive interview with our Cindy Adams, Leona revealed her deepest feelings about her past.
I grew up it was in the area in Brooklyn. We weren't rich. I didn't know that we weren't rich. Very interesting. I was a very happy child all my life. Always happy and loved the moment I was in, and I still do. I didn't feel that I was a deprived child. Maybe, not even. At one point, where they really couldn't afford to keep us all. Well, I was the one that went to live with an uncle. And I came home.
How did you survive when you lost your only son, Lee?
I still had him. And the worst thing that the media did was to photograph his grave. Not easy to lose a child.
One of the things that we almost couldn't understand, which was very harsh for the public to understand, if you lost your son, the feeling that you were quite vindictive to your daughter-in-law.
You would be too. My son had had a heart attack, at which time Harry and I flew out to the coast coach. You don't have, it was important to get there. And, sorry, at that time, he had a lawyer. He was in intensive care. He had a lawyer, and he wrote a will. Christmas time, we were out there. The girl, well, Jay looked terrible. And I called her and I said, I don't like the way Jay looks. And I said, Mimi, if something happens to that young man, you will go out the way you came in, with nothing. It's not a threat, it's a promise. And Jay died December. Then she thought that she should have the house, which the house was given to Jay as an executive. Jay did not own the house. Deco owned the house.
That was one of your firms.
Which he ran. Jay did a wonderful job for us. He did all the purchasing for all the hotels, and he did a remarkable job. He didn't leave much money. He left $60,000, and I wanted to break it, yes.